Welcome to the BananaROMa TV Podcast. I am your host, Oddsmith311 this week, here with another crew member, FelixNloom.
Hi, that's me. Hi, I'm Felix.
And we're here tonight to talk about something near and dear to both of our heart, but especially this, oh my god. Anybody who follows our channel knows how much I play this game. In fact, I've been yelled at for playing it too much, but I don't care.
Doom! I think we've lost friends and fans because of Doom.
Who was it? Was it Toblerbot?
It was Riptide.
Riptide. You playing Doom again?
Doom again? Sorry.
But hey, what can you say, man? It's a great game. That's what we're here to talk about today.
And by the way, welcome to the podcast today.
Yes.
And I want to say, we stream on Twitch. That's what we're referring to. Twitch.tv/BananaROMA. Go check that out. Give us a follow. You can also find us on Twitter, where we're pretty active. Twitter, what is it? .com/BananaROMA_TV. So
we're on there. I mean, I'm on there at least every hour, every 2 hours, especially if I see stuff. I know Felix is on there. Dr. Mega Man checks it here and there. We usually see stuff if you send it to us. We're also part of the Team MZ streaming group through Twitter. A lot of good people on there. We've gotten to know
hype. Yeah, they've been very friendly.
Give them a check. You can check them out. They have a podcast. They do. Actually, I have to make sure next time I have the information in front of me. But they do their podcast. You can check them out on Twitter and sign
Team
up.
Team MZ with 4 M's.
Yes. 4 M's.
MZ. And our Facebook as well. So that's BananaROMA Television. Facebook.com/BananaROMA Television.
Great source of articles, not only for stuff from our personal stash of videos and things we put out, but stuff from all over the web, all kinds of video game related stuff,
and our exclusive BananaROMA TV battles.
Yes, someday I'd like to do. If I ever had the computing capability, I'd love to do animated type.
That would be cool, like cartoons or 3D,
just something, even if it's just like blocky, just do animation like South Park kind of stuff,
or like Dorkly.
Yes, yeah, perfect.
That would be great.
All kinds of plugs in there. Yeah,
dropping names.
Oh yeah. You talk about what you know, and like I said, we're here today to talk about Doom.
And then I don't know that there's any confusion, but just in case there's any confusion, we're talking about Doom for DOS. I mean, that was where it started.
That's all where it started. 1995, its software broke the mold. They didn't break the mold. They just threw the old mold away and just made a new one and said, "Fuck everybody." Sorry about the blue language.
Yeah. It's gonna happen.
Kids, cover your ears.
We have been voted the most controversial network on Twitch.
Yes.
So
you can't,
by a very small group of people, but
whatever. # most controversial channel ever. No, released by John Romero. Of course, I'm going to draw a blank. John Carmack, Adrian Carmack, Tom Hall, who actually ended up going off the project toward the end. He didn't see eye to eye. He wanted to keep doing the Commander Keen. They wanted something a little more visceral, a little more real.
Yes.
In that game.
And Doom did break the mold. I mean, not only did they make $1 million doing it, but they changed. It's crazy. It's not even the computer industry itself. It's had a massive impact on our culture.
Yes. Yes.
Well, that was prior to the ESRB ratings, wasn't it not?
That was actually, if I remember correctly, Doom was one of the games responsible for...
That's cultural impact right there, though.
Well, I mean, then you got to take into consider some other stuff, like, the Army using it for team building, because... I mean, I played the Call of Duties, the Halos, all that stuff, the Dead Island, all the popular not all of them, but a lot of them.
Yeah.
I can tell you one thing: the controls with Doom. When I play a Doom game, it's like lightning. It's like grease lightning. If you know how and where you want to go,
yeah.
I mean, you don't get that. I mean, I guess it's a realism thing, quote unquote. But no first-person shooter I've ever played outside of stuff like Quake or that nature, similar nature, has had that responsiveness. I was just playing it earlier before I come over here, and it's like
there's something where it lacks in realism. It has like immersiveness.
Yes.
This just feels right. You can get into it.
A lot of the approach that they took, a lot of that had to do with, they all grew up, I know John Romero, and a lot of this information I get is, I'm a big fan. I've read Masters of Doom recently. That was a great book. There's several really good biography things on YouTube. There's one of him playing along with a guy from IGN playing the first Doom episode. A lot of good stories and stuff of that. There's stuff with John Carmack on there too. He's a little more dry, but his genius. I mean, that's what made Doom great, was not just the gameplay and the design element, but that was a whole new type of engine. Mm-hmm. They're able to create this 3D environment that isn't actually 3D. It's weird.
Even now, it's difficult to wrap my mind around it. Like, conceptually, I think I understand it. But when you play it, you're like, well, I see how it's not 3D, but it literally looks 3D. I mean, that immersion, you feel as if you're immersed in a 3D space.
Yeah,
these monsters. I mean,
there's a whole world around you, and I mean, that's never changed. And I would dare say that all the Doom games do a pretty good job of bringing you in like that, and you don't need a lot of backstory. Obviously Doom 3 had a bigger campaign type game, and I haven't played the new Doom, but I think it has a story. I don't know how much of a story.
Right.
But that's what I liked about a lot of them, is you're just kind of, it's like Metroid in a way. The early Metroid games where you're just thrown into an area, and you start, and you're like, okay, you gotta figure out what the hell's going on.
Yep.
And that, and one thing that gets talked about a lot with that game is the level design. They call it the abstract level design, where it kind of reminds you of a military base, but at the same time, it's like, it looks kind of weird.
There's always things that are off-settling, and then later in the game, it gets more, more apparent when parts of the army base look like distorted or bloody or like dark or just corrupted, I guess.
Corrupted's a good word. You start seeing, especially in Doom 3, you get to a certain part of the base, and there's like, just big fleshy blobs pulsating all over. And you get that stuff in the original Doom games too.
Or the occult symbols, or just like mutilated bodies and stuff that you just find.
You'll see like monsters. I love in some level, like the secret level in episode 2 of the first game, where they had the Hell Princess being crucified up on the wall. It's like, what the hell, man? That was what made that game. When that game came out, I mean, stuff like that was taboo. You weren't allowed to do certain things because,
right.
And frankly, the kind of stuff they were doing, there hadn't really been games that could do a lot of those things. Mm-hmm. Wolfenstein was the precursor to that.
But again, you're talking about how Grease Lightning Doom feels. Wolfenstein's the exact opposite of that. It's really slow and clunky, even though graphically it's very similar. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can. It's like an alpha version of what like Doom's engine is, or something like that.
Well, all the levels I think are flat. I mean, there's no stairs or anything, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
They all have like ceiling, the same color ceiling, above them, same color floor. Whereas with Doom, you got all different kinds of textures, and they would pretty much said that when they wanted something in the game, they would write the code for it right then and there and put it in.
That's sweet.
And Carmack's engine was revolutionary and made it to where, you can see it, like when you shoot an enemy, like if you see an enemy way up in a window and you just turn toward it and shoot and you'll hit it, that shows you that you're technically on the same plane.
But even that tricks your brain into thinking that you're aiming up.
Yes.
I mean, even if, like, rockets look like they're going up. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't know. It's genius.
I mean, you can play like I think with Z Doom and a lot of other of the, what would you call them, the ROM or the emulators. I don't know what the term.
I'm not sure what that is either, but
you can do like I've seen people play with like 3D controls on Doom. I think
it's cool. It's almost like a different engine that the WADs run on.
Yeah, I'm
not sure if that's what it is, but that's what it seems like. What Z Doom seems like.
Yeah, that sounds right. I don't know too much about the actual. Like the build, it'd be cool to learn how to build. There's a term for it. Is it a port? Is that the term?
Maybe.
It's gonna drive me nuts now. But anyway, yeah, the WAD files. That's funny because that came from them trying to figure out these types of the way that they were running the files. They had the computer running the way the information had to go into it. They just needed a name. They just went up WAD for like a wad of data.
It's just a wad of data. It's great because that's what I think of.
That's pretty much what it is.
This is what it is.
I guess like a lot of other companies, like I can't remember what, I think LucasArts, a lot of the other companies have like dot something, 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 you know, for their own personal.
Right.
Which, hey, cool, more power to them.
Dot wad. I like it.
Yeah, I remember when I first played Doom, I think it was on Super Nintendo, oddly enough. Because we had a computer, but this was like, even by the time Doom had come out, it wasn't, I mean, you started seeing people with home computers, but it wasn't as normal.
Yeah.
We had like a Packard Bell, and it was just had that dial-up modem. It was so slow. You know, and the computer was like a weird, I don't know, did you ever see that Married with Children episode where they get a computer?
No.
Oh, God. Where it just ends up kind of being like I mean, we used it for like playing games and stuff, but we didn't know anything. It was just a new technology in our house, you know. And
right.
It wasn't until I finally, Doom 2 was the first game I played on the actual PC.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, that was, I'm trying to think of what year I had. Well, when did, maybe 96, 97, something like that, I think, when it came out. I think they did Doom 2 pretty quickly after the first one. Which, I tell you, another genius thing that they changed was the shareware. They didn't come up with the idea themselves. There was someone that they started working with who I don't think they called it shareware. But what he would do is he would give away the first section of a game and then say, if you want the rest of the game, here's a phone number, and he would collect 100% profit from it.
Right.
And the guys from Doom, I forgot how much money they said they were making a month, millions of dollars straight.
It's crazy. It's a genius idea. Now, I don't remember exactly the first time I played Doom or anything, but I know that in 6th grade we got a PC. We had like Tandy computers and stuff before that, but I got all A's in 6th grade, and my reward was I got like a PC, right? I don't think it was a real expensive one, but it changed my life.
Still, yeah.
And there used to be places that sold floppy disks like all over the place. My dad would go, right? I'd go with him and he'd buy games. And I remember one at the mall in town. I don't know, I remember like a kiosk that sold floppy disks. And then there was one of the stores that was rented out for a while, one of the little shops areas, and it sold floppy disks. So we'd go and get them. Or, I don't know, even at Meijer, like just picking up floppy disks. And I remember having like the shareware Doom.
Yes.
I can imagine everybody had that. If you had a PC, whether it was like a burned copy or something, you had that.
Most downloaded thing on the internet, period.
Well, that was legal to do, right? You could just
it was free.
Copy
it was
it
free.
And pass it on.
That was the whole, that was something that changed. Like I said, they didn't come up with that concept themselves, but they took it and utilized it and really, you know, to the point where if I remember correctly, when they actually put Doom on the shelves for retail, the way they did that to convince the stores to do it was they're like, look, you keep the profit. We just want it on the shelves because, you know, why not?
I mean, it's promotion, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Still today, though, you know, playing that game, I loved it, but I had no idea it would be like this.
Well, it's kind of like one of those hindsight. It's 2020, you know, send an echo out, and you know now that we're older and we can look back and say, "Oh wow, I didn't realize that so many things in gaming that I had taken for granted started in that game." You know, with certain concepts,
totally,
the changing, you know, like
well, there's the Doom ports, right, or games that draw very heavily from Doom. And I remember playing those games, but not recognizing quite that it was a phenomenon. Like Duke Nukem, obviously.
Yeah.
Very Doom inspired. And then Shadow Warrior. It all is like heavily inspired by Doom.
I mean, I think a lot of those games were just that. Which is not, I'm not saying that negatively. It was, I mean, they licensed that engine out and they made a lot of money off of that because it was.
It's not a bad thing.
Not at all. I mean,
to me, that was like part of the appeal of those games. Is like, oh, okay, well, this is it's a different kind of take on Doom. Duke Nukem was grittier.
Yes.
It had aspects, and you know, it was violent in a different sort of way.
It was more not animated, but what's the word? God, kind of like goofy, but not quite. Just over the top.
Yeah, over the top. Just like full of antics. Just in his catchphrases and shit.
Balls of steel.
Like I said, it's weird because I played Doom on the console first, and I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the same experience as far as the type of game it is. Up to that point, I played the same game as a lot of us played: the Super Mario Worlds, Chrono Trigger, Earthbound, so on and so forth. But this game was like, I had never played anything quite like this. Because I didn't play Wolfenstein.
This is on the Super Nintendo?
Yeah. But it wasn't until... I'll tell you when I really started... My love for Doom started, believe it or not, more recently, the way I feel about it now. Because I always loved it. I always thought it was a good game. But when I discovered the Z-Doom port, and you got this port that it runs so well... And now, and kind of things I like, it has like the little counters for the items, and when you get a secret and it tells you, that shit comes in handy, because if you're trying to learn a level and it doesn't tell you, you get to the end of the level, oh, you missed a secret. Crap, like we're...
And even on a more basic level, that's the thing, is I remember playing Doom a lot when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And then I remember buying the trilogy pack from, one of these like retail stores one time. $10. It had the first 3 Dooms in it. You go and play it though, and you're like, oh shit, I had to control it like this. Like Z-Doom is a game changer for Doom.
Yes.
Because that kind of kept me away from playing Doom for a while. Because I was like, okay, this game is fun, but the nostalgia is kind of ruined by having this claw hand thing that I have to do to play the original Doom.
I didn't even think about that because it's been so long since. You're right. I've forgotten how the controls used to. And I tell you what, man, I used to get really bad tendonitis pains and shit because from
both your hands are just like crunched up like this.
Yeah, everything's gathered right there.
The whole time, it's terrible.
Being able to do the mouse with the WSAD, I guess you can do a controller too. I'm pretty sure. I have no interest in that, but
no, the mouse. The mouse feels right.
The response, man,
And we can make an argument about that also contributing to Doom's success. Because there's a lot of games that have done a lot, but because maybe you can't edit them or modify them, I don't know, add peripherals, they're not as good.
Well, you pay $60 for a Nintendo game, which, yes, at the time, you would pay $60, maybe more depending on what game, and maybe, like it is like today, when some games come out and they're so... anticipate the big titles were the Legends of Zelda games and stuff.
Yeah,
it could be $60,
Right.
Where Doom, you got the shareware, then you paid. What was it? $20 to got you Ultimate.
I can't remember. Yeah, maybe like $19.99.
Maybe $30, which is still like you got because if you got it retail, it was 4 episodes. And if you ordered over the phone, the original version was just the original 3 episodes.
Okay. And that's so much game because of the difficulty levels.
Yeah, because
and just the fact that Doom is just almost endlessly enjoyable.
Well, the joy comes in, like now when I play through, especially the first game, I zip through all those levels because I know them so well. I can see them in my head. I can in the maps just from such repetition.
Right.
And having Z-Doom and being able to play like that, you do want to spend more time playing. And not only that, but being able to easily play a lot of other mods,
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know. Modding's a big part of gaming. People like that. Well, I don't know. For some reason, I'm thinking of GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64. I love that game. Going back and playing it, though, the frame rate is terrible. And I don't know. It's the kind of game where we want to see enhanced versions of that, but proprietary stuff prevents that.
And I'm sure somebody's done it and tried to.
Well, there was a port for, or I guess they remade the game for. What was it? For with the Half-Life 2 engine.
Really?
They just remade the multiplayer mode though. They didn't remake all the scenarios, but somebody programmed so if you have Half-Life 2, you can download this, add on, and you can play multiplayer GoldenEye.
Which was revolutionary at the time because and it's funny because I've always read that the multiplayer was thrown into that game at the last minute
That was the greatest. I mean, the storyline was a lot of fun, doing all the different missions and stuff. But yeah, multiplayer, just hanging out with your friends and like going in these battle deathmatch arenas again, though. See, you're like, is this off topic? Kind of, but where did that deathmatch whole thing start?
Well, deathmatch
With Doom.
Yeah, it was because he made Romero programmed the Duolingo chat engine.
Okay.
He said the whole thing was he said he hated having to like get on the phone with us, with people and then have to jump off because of be on the modem.
Oh yeah.
Jump back on and he said, I'm trying to remember like what his inspiration for the multiplayer mode. I think it was just he thought it would be fun, and when they got it set up and it turned into this big, then they turned the term deathmatch. Yeah. And then it just turned into this phenomenon, like these people, just like they do a lot of games today, tournaments, gathering, like big conventions and stuff.
So cool. That's something I never got to experience as a kid because internet was different. Mm-hmm. Could you do it over the internet, or was it all local play?
See, I never did it. That's the thing. So
all
I know about it is from reading, because I didn't ever. Even today, I've never been as big on the multiplaying, so I just never really had any, which now I wouldn't mind trying it now, especially if it's like levels that like the original levels. Oh my god, dude! Like I could probably.
It would be
pretty
sweet.
Good at it, but.
Or I wonder if there are special deathmatch levels. I don't know. That's something we should look into.
It would be fun to try. I've never really done that before. I played Doom
deathmatch
against anybody, or even with what's the term? Cooperative mode. Cooperative mode. Yeah, that's what it is.
That's a thing.
I think. Well, I think you could technically work together. Well, yeah, the when they were doing the IGN recording, they were playing multiplayer, but they were playing together. You could hurt each other.
It's still crazy though. I didn't know that.
It's that would be weird. It'd be weird playing. I would almost have to play with someone who's familiar with it, or someone who will just follow me. I guess because
support maybe.
I guess
it seems like you'd have to almost do I don't know, change the maps or make specific maps or something like that.
I think there are. Well, I know like with the Maximum Doom, which is a great collection of. Well, it's only great because there's so many. I mean, there's some stinkers on it, but there's some really good ones. It's like a collection of like 1,000 fan-made WADs or something like that.
That just feels so overwhelming.
Oh my god, dude. I'm trying to think where I got that from. I think you can get that. All you gotta do is look up, I think, Maximum Doom on the intranet.
Maximum Doom.
You talk about the multiplayer online. I mean, that's one of the big things at the time with the PC had over the consoles. You couldn't do that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think, what was the first console you could play online? Was it like Xbox, original Xbox? Like play with the level of simplicity versus like
I was gonna say some of the earlier systems had some kinds of online play. The PlayStation 2 had a modem, and there were a select few games for it, but even the original Xbox didn't. I'm not sure if that one had an online play mode. It was easy to LAN up and play. I don't know that until the next, with the 360 came out, did they? I think that's the first time they had like a dedicated online service.
That's what I was thinking.
I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking.
I was going to say earlier, too, you asked about deathmatch maps. I was going to say in Maximum Doom, there's text files with each level that tells you, like, what game they were based off.
Oh, okay.
And there's a lot of them that say specific for either single player or deathmatch.
That would be cool.
So they do differentiate. I'm not sure what the differences are, but, it's something we could check out. It'd be fun.
Well, you want to take a little break here?
Yeah, we're going to take a little pause here, stretch our legs, and take care of a little business.
And listen intently to this information that we're about to dispense to you. It's very important. Hey everybody, thanks for listening. And we want to take a second here to thank our Patreon supporters. We appreciate you very much. You help us do what we do. All the donations, all that money stacks up, and it helps us afford some really good things for the channel and the station that we normally couldn't.
And all that money goes right back into the channel. We appreciate everything everybody's done for us, and we just want to continue to make the best entertainment we can and do what we enjoy doing, playing video games, interacting with everybody, and trying to make as much original content as we can. So stop on by. We have all kinds of perks that you can be part of.
We got perks. We're gonna give you shout outs. We'll put your names on our videos. It's a way to help out and support if you're not sure how and you like what we do. It's patreon.com/BananaROMa TV.
Once again, we'd like to thank everybody who supported us and everybody who's donated and continues to help us grow.
Thank you.
Join us every Friday evening as FelixNloom
and whoever else I can convince to come play games with me.
Usually, hopefully me, Oddsmith311.
Oh, someone will be there with me.
We'll be doing multiplayer gaming this season. Something we're going to try.
Yes, every Friday night. We're going to be playing various games with our friends. And it probably will vary greatly depending on what games everyone has and what we want to play. So it should be an interesting potluck of gaming.
So yeah, stop on by and let's all game together and do what we do best.
And if you don't want to play and you just want to lurk in the chat room, well, that's fine too.
You can find us on Discord as well.
Yep, so the main place for that is twitch.tv/BananaROMa. Thanks for listening. Okay, and we're back.
Back to the show.
Back to the show about Doom.
The BananaROMa TV Podcast. This is your host, Oddsmith311.
And I'm FelixNloom.
And we are continuing our conversation about this most sacred of games.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
And one good thing about Doom, we started talking about was, we like we were saying, you could pay $60, you buy a Nintendo game. Even the good Nintendo games, you beat them, done. You buy $20 for Doom, people get the code, and now there's thousands of and even now, there's still servers running that have fan-made levels. John Romero was funny when he was asked about whether he would make levels anymore. His initial response was no, because he would get laughed at, because he said the art has been elevated so much that he would have to relearn how to do it, which he did, and he released a level, and I watched it, and it's pretty brutal.
Oh, yeah. He, redid one of the levels from the original game, is that right?
He took, I think it was the last level from the first episode, and made it into a bigger
Yeah, I watched
level.
a video of that, and it was insane. I was looking at the map, actually, around the time that we were messing around with the Doom Builder.
Mm-hmm.
And I downloaded that map, and I was looking at it, and it's insane.
It is, man. I mean, for someone who was so reluctant to do it, once again, I referenced, if you get a chance on YouTube, the IGN video with him playing along with their host. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but it's a really cool. They play through the entire thing. A lot of good information like this, a lot of good stories. They talk about how, you don't see nowadays where a company would be able to release its code like that.
No.
And for free. People could just take and mod the game. And the funny thing is, they still made so much money off of it that it's...
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? You made your money off it.
Why
not make it something classic that lasts and continues to be loved?
And it started careers. I mean, you had the guy, I think Sandy Peterson came in Doom 2. There might have been another guy that wasn't on the first game. He was originally I think he was someone who made fan levels, and they liked his design. Final Doom for the initially for the PC, but I know they released it. I had it for PlayStation as well, which was it was 2 full episodes.
Final Doom.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, TNT, which I played live. Actually, we did for our Doom Pledge drive. Good game. I like it. I'm not saying it's the best one, but I mean, I like a lot of stuff about it other people don't like. I don't know, like the one, was it level 22 Habitat? Everybody else hates it. I think it's a cool concept. I see what they were going for. It's kind of annoying, but that game. And then there's the other one, Plutonia, and it's just that game is not for the faint of heart. That is made for the expert level Doom player, and I haven't tried it yet.
No?
I'm too scared. I mean, I played it when I was younger.
Okay.
But as far as going back and playing through it on like ultra violence,
Oh wow, I didn't know.
I need to do it. I have it.
It's a challenge that is there.
And those games were made by fans. Those were made
Both of those were?
Plutonium or Plutonium, whatever it was made by brothers. I'm trying to think of their names. They were really good they were really good level designers. Very good.
You know, speaking about the culture and everything, I really like that they're like, hey, we're a community, and you know what? We're gonna put the source code out there. I don't know. Did they put Doom Builder out there? I'm not sure if that was like. Anyway, there's Doom Builder. Go have fun with it. You know, make games. Oh, and it's not just that there's a fan community where you make games. We're actually going to take these fan-made games and turn them into official games. That's a really cool, I don't know, thing to do for gamers. You love that kind of thing. You're like, oh.
And there really is. It's easy, if you're not familiar with Doom or have never really looked at it, to say, well, what's the difference with level? But I'm telling you, man, when you start to really understand how those levels are designed and you get to see how clever you had to be. I was thinking that today playing Final Gathering, the 5-episode WAD off of Maximum Doom.
Yeah.
And now that I know the levels more clearly, I'm like, there's some pretty clever level design here. The way things turn out. Like,
well, a fan's mindset going into making a game is completely different than the actual game designer.
And we're just talking about the mods for like the normal game. That's not even to speak of the countless crazy, like, gosh, Star Wars Doom, Simpsons Doom.
Well, even there's so many fan Dooms. There's a multitude of official Doom games that are completely different too.
Oh yeah.
Even the difference between Ultimate Doom and Doom 2 is quite large.
Doom 2, man, they introduced like probably the greatest weapon in all of first-person.
The double-barrel shotgun. It's so gratifying to shoot that thing, even if you don't shoot anything.
Just a Doom. It's like, oh,
fantastic.
I don't care if you love guns. I don't care if you hate guns. I don't care. There's just something on like a subconscious level that's satisfying about that noise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a good weapon, tactically too.
It's so crazy. It's insanely powerful. It runs out of ammo, but hey, that's what you pay. And then there's a lot of new enemies in Doom 2. I don't know if there's a lot, but the enemies they add definitely add a different edge to the game.
It doesn't. You know what? It doesn't feel like. I'm trying to find the name of the people who did this so well. It doesn't feel like there's a big difference, or like there's more enemies until I really stopped and writing them down one day. I'm like, wait a minute, they really did expand, because you went from, like, they put in the chain gun zombies,
yeah,
which are like the next level. I like them. They're harder to kill, and they give you less ammo.
They can melt you too.
Oh, dude, they can. A chain gunner gets you in their sight, and you can't get out of the way fast enough. You're done in seconds. And they also come
multiple chain gunners. It's just brutal.
What was it? The chain gunner. There's the pain elemental, which makes me want to.
The pain elemental is the one that shoots out the
lost
skulls.
Souls.
Yeah, the lost souls.
It's the most.
And that's like two enemies they added. Kind of just one spawns the other.
Yeah, and it's not as powerful as like a Kako demon, but left unchecked for a short amount of time. And there is a certain amount of skulls that there's a certain, what they call that, like a.
Oh, there's a max number.
Yeah, that can be on screen, but it's a lot.
Still, forgive the pun. Those skulls are hellish, though.
Oh yeah,
when they start like a room full of those.
You had to really get
souls.
Fancy footwork to get away from all of them, man. And it's, they added the Hell Knight, which once again,
and that's like an improved.
Well, it's like a step down from the Hell, which not a bad way, but it's good to have another version. It's like the Bear in the Hell, but it's a little weaker.
Okay.
You can kill it in a couple double barrel, but it's still potent enemy, to come across. The Revenants, which I feel the same way about the Lost Souls and the Revenants together. I hate them, but I understand why they're there.
Oh, which one of the Revenants?
They're the fucking skeletons that punch you and shoot heat-seeking rockets. Yeah. And they make what I think is one of the... If you have headphones on and you're playing Doom, they make what I think is one of the scariest noises. First when they see you, and then afterward they make this weird... like this weird breathing. I don't know, man.
I feel like that Doom 2 is a lot scarier.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Like, right now we're talking about this, and I can feel, like, my body kind of tensing up just, like, thinking about some of these things. They're horrifying.
Oh, well, what else did they add? They added the arachnotrons.
Okay. And what about the, and those are scary, talking about horrible sounds.
Oh, yeah.
Just the whole time, and they're horrifying to look at.
And they're so, it's just like with the chain gunner. It only takes, with that, a couple of hits of rapid fire. Yeah.
Did they add the, what are the things with the rocket launcher arms called?
Oh,
Behemoths? Mancubus?
Yes.
Are those in the first game?
No, those are add-on.
I love those. Those are one of my favorite enemies just because they're like, it's so absurd.
You know where they come in handy? And the level, I think it was level 3 from the Final Gathering. The first big part of the level, you use them. I didn't fire a single shot for most of the first 10 minutes of that level because
you just use them to deal the damage.
You fall into this big pit and there's 2 of them up top and there's like a ton of the pink demons and the Kako demons.
Yeah.
And they start firing down. You just start running in a circle. It's a big ass chamber.
It's crazy.
And then after a certain point, you hit the switch and it raises it up. And then you go run around and wake up all the enemies on the outside. I mean, but when it's said and done, he took care of a lot of the fuckers. They all come to you. They fly up. The enemy, that level is fun. There's so many enemies. And I get so many of them in fighting. You have to be quick. You have to be careful.
There's nothing like getting the enemies to in-fight, though. That's awesome.
I mean, that whole level seemed like it was designed for that. It's a big open space with so many enemies. And it's so easy. There's a corner you can get yours. You got to be careful. That you can work yourself into. There's a bunch of trees in front of you. And it's just, oh, man. It's so much fun. I love doing that. Just watching them just annihilate each other.
That's great.
Was
Doom, another great aspect of it.
Well, another one. It doesn't get brought up as much, I think, because it was on a system that had an odd controller. Was Doom 64. We talked about. It's a cool game. I played it over here for the first time.
It is a cool game. It has I like it because the art style is different. It's got a darker, kind of more realistic look. The pink demons look like much more horrifying.
It's a big step in the right direction. What they had, the engine they had to work with and stuff. It
feels very like 9 Inch Nails-esque. I don't know, almost like Quake kind of.
Yes.
Just with the Doom look. I really do like. I like Doom 64 a lot, but the controller is weird. Anymore, I can't help it. I gotta have the mouse. I mean, the joysticks are okay, but even then, the Nintendo 64 was a time when joysticks were a brand new thing. Really. Yeah. Anyway, that kind of thumb joystick.
Well, it was an awkward controller. Period. It was like you always give kudos for trying something different.
Well, I read that, or I heard, whatever, at the time, Nintendo wasn't sure whether or not 2D games were going to stay popular or if 3D games were going to take off, because they could make 3D games.
Okay.
So the controller was a hybrid between the two types of controllers.
Trying to walk the line between both.
You can hold it this way for 2D games, and then we got a joystick in the middle for 3D games. And it is an awkward, silly-looking controller. When you get used to it, it starts to feel pretty good, but still, though, anymore, it's either a mouse or, like, dual joystick setup. I mean, that's just ideal.
What level was it we did on Control Freaks?
I was thinking of that, too. We did have a lot of fun on that bonus level. I think it was Cat and Mouse with the giant... It was a giant cyber demon, right?
You start off, like, with it, like, right behind you.
Yeah, and it's just...
We never did kill it. Not without
without cheating.
Yeah.
He just chases you around the whole time, and then he disappears randomly and appears. He just can teleport.
Plus, there's a bunch of enemies and
yeah, there's imps and cages that are throwing fireballs at you. And they're hard to see. Oh, because they're the dark imps that are in the Nintendo 64 version, and they're invisible. Or
yeah,
they're the semi-invisible imps. We had a lot of fun doing that, though. We just kept taking turns trying to survive as long as we could to take down the demon. But they don't really give you... You get a rocket launcher, and you get your handgun. And, the rocket launcher does a lot of damage, but if you're too close to a wall, which you're
usually
going to have to hide behind if you want to survive, you're risking your life. I don't know, the different versions of Doom is amazing. Even to spawn so many different versions, like even the original Doom, Ultimate Doom, there was the Super Nintendo version.
Mm-hmm. There
was a version for the Sega 32X. Do you remember?
No, I didn't know that.
Do you know what the Sega 32X is?
Not sure.
It was this, you could take the Sega Genesis, and it was an add-on. The 32X was an add-on for the Genesis. And it plugged into where the cartridge did. And it gave it, I think, a RAM boost.
Oh, okay.
So it was like extra RAM in this device. So you would plug the cart in on top of that. And there were 32X games, and Doom was one of them.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
cool.
So you could play Doom on the Genesis with the 32X hookup. And then I had Doom for the Game Boy Advance, too. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think it was I can't remember if it was Doom 1 or Doom 2. I think they put both of them out for the Game Boy Advance. But that was hard to control, because the Game Boy Advance only has... 2 buttons. Yeah. It has 2 shoulder buttons, but like 2 thumb buttons and a D-pad. So to scroll through your items, you'd have to hold R and then B or press up or something. It was really complicated. But even that is a testament to how popular that game is.
Yeah.
The Super Nintendo version didn't have a save feature, which is kind of insane for PC. For me to think about always playing Doom on the PC and how often I save.
Yeah.
It's nuts to think about playing that game without being able to save. And it's insane to think about playing it on the Game Boy Advance. On a small screen with not enough buttons to strafe and do all the stuff that I need to do.
You ever play the Doom RPG game?
I was thinking of that too, I think, for the cell phone.
I think so. I have yet to play it. I need to look it up.
Yeah. Joel had it, or somebody had it, and it was just really weird. You would move. It felt like I think it was in 3D space, like a Doom level would be, but it was like a dungeon crawler almost, where you make a move, then they make a move.
Okay.
I think it was like that. I didn't play it for very long.
The couple of pictures I saw of it, that's what it looked like.
I would like to. I wonder if we can get that on Android or maybe on some sort of emulator.
That'd be sweet if somebody had ported it to be able to play it, on the computer. That'd be a cool one to do for Doomsday.
We'll see. Then what did I look at? I sent you that video of Doom. Somebody had ported a version of Z-Doom to run on a TI-89 calculator. Yeah. It was not the full game. I mean, it was kind of bad looking, but that is a testament of how much people love that game. They're I don't even care if it's not the real game. I just want to program a Doom that works for this calculator.
Well, that's what the cool thing with the mods. And I don't know if you remember. A game we really haven't talked about much yet. Doom 3. I don't know if you remember. There was a mod. What was the name of that software company? They did the entire first episode of the original Doom game with the Doom 3 engine.
Oh, that's insane.
And it was really neat because you're going through these levels and these levels because but at the same time, sometimes they're so much more realistic looking.
I would love to try that.
You can get on, you gotta get the Sarah account.
Okay.
And then it goes through Steam. You might be able to have, if you can't access it through my account, through yours, then you can get into my account and try it.
Okay.
Because I have it on your computer.
I'll look into that. That has to play weird tricks with your mind, because that's the thing about old games, and Doom doesn't have the best graphics when you go and play it.
No.
But, the thing is that when you remember the games, when you remember the experiences, you don't think about the pixelated graphics.
No.
So it's got to be weird, like, going in to 3D, these 3D Doom levels you're used to.
Yeah, man.
And your memory kind of, like, has an idea of what you're going to see anyway, but it's just, you actually get to see it.
It just rendered, it just looks more...
It sounds cool.
It's more realistic because of the engine, but it's still that same abstract level design, so yeah, it does play that trick with your mind, like, and you pretty much start to remember where everything's at, but there are a few times where you're like, okay, wait a minute, where would this be at in this level? And you get used to that, but
and I mean, the lighting effects are worlds different between the the original Doom engine and Doom 3.
Well, I tell you, playing Doom 3 initially, which I was really late to the game on that one. I think the first time I played it was like in 2009 or 2010.
When did it come out? Like
2003 or 4 maybe? Or something like that.
Crazy.
Because that game, it took so long because it's weird. The thing that made John Carmack and John Romero work together so well initially is the same thing that made them grow apart in the long run. It's the fact that Romero wanted a great game, a fun game. Carmack was more focused on the engine. And then you get when they were doing Quake, where they got all these guys sitting around twiddling their thumbs because they can't do anything because they don't have the engine yet.
Right.
Because you got to wait for Carmack. And that kind of with Doom 3, and Carmack always wanted to keep the team small. You know what I mean? He didn't want to have a bunch of people. And
right.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the new Doom game. It took so long because, it's just... I mean, I think it got... I'm trying to think. There was a game, Rage. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of games, that one and a couple that seemed like it pushed it back a couple times.
Well, and game design keeps getting more and more, I don't know, it's got to be more cumbersome of a task. Yeah. It has to take many more hours to design a game now than it did to design the original Doom. Even if they put like countless hours in, just the scale of and what's required.
Oh yeah, the original Doom, you had Romero, like I said, doing the levels and doing that stuff. Tom Hall doing story stuff and level design.
Well, it's almost amazing. Sorry.
I was saying, there's like 4 or 5 of them, I think.
It's almost amazing that these games come out, even if it does take a long time. I mean, how long have we been waiting on like Final Fantasy VII for the remake? I think part of that, though, is that the scope of that game is just immense.
And there's going to be a lot of expectation.
It felt like a big game then. And even going back and playing it, there's a lot of depth in that game, which you can't necessarily recreate in the ways that you could on the PlayStation. I don't know. Kingdom Hearts is another game that hasn't had another one in a long time, but it's like they have these expectations to meet, and they want it to be good, and it's going to be good. It's just going to take them a long time. I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews about, like, it's called Doom, but it's the Bethesda Doom, right? Like, I don't know. I heard it was really glitchy, which Bethesda's known for that. I don't know how big that game actually is, though.
I think it's a pretty good sized game, and it's just like with Doom 3, it pushes the limits. I was watching a video where they were testing some graphics card, some ridiculously high graphics card, and it was just still just running. I mean, dude, it was
really
chugging along nicely. They're made for the next generation. It seems like, or maybe 2 generations. Like we couldn't get. I don't think any of our computers could be even close to being able to run it.
Oh, really?
Competently. I would be surprised. I know mine wouldn't be able to. Maybe you might be able to get it to run at some level on yours, but I don't.
Maybe if I scale it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, even like Resident Evil. I don't know if I've tried it with the new graphics card, but I was having trouble running Resident Evil 7. Not trouble, but I had to turn the settings down pretty low. It's okay though.
I never appreciated how different the games are until I was playing Arkham Asylum on your computer. With I didn't have it all the way turned up, but I was able to turn it up more than I can on mine, and there's so much more detail, so many more things, like in the Scarecrow part.
Oh, yeah.
Holy God! Like, there's things flying at you through the air.
I love that, though, because it's like, okay, if you don't have the best computer, you still play the game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it just doesn't look as good. Then if you do get the good stuff, it'll look awesome.
But Doom 3 now, if you go back and play it, I had to agree with some of the criticism. I enjoy Doom 3. I mean, I played for 2 years. I played the shit out of Doom 3. Oh my god, every day. I want to start playing it again when I get the capability.
Yeah. But
it is a little more... It's scary. Like, I think, especially you put headphones on, let yourself really immerse yourself in the story.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of that. With that game, it's not so much music as it is a lot of ambience, background noises, and you can hear shit going on, and you're making your way deeper and deeper. Like, the last couple levels, you're in an archaeological dig site.
Yeah.
And you just feel claustrophobic, like you're underground.
Oh, man, I really got to give that one a try. Do you use your Steam account very often?
Anymore?
Or do the kids?
Sometimes. I know Elijah is big on the farming simulator. He really likes that one. Timmy plays that one too.
Maybe I'll just have to try to get Doom 3.
But if you were to play it later at night, even after like 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, there wouldn't be...
Okay, cool. Because I've been... I want something... I've been looking for a different kind of game to play through.
It's cool, especially the first... And what I'd like to do now that it's been a couple of years, when you go through it, really talk to everybody. When you pick up these PDAs, a lot of times you'll need a code to get into an area. You'll have to pick them up. Okay. And read through the file. There's emails, and then there's
incentive to go through all this stuff. I bought the game way back in the day. Again, I love talking about modern gaming. I love having libraries of games online, like Steam. So I had the game at some point. I never played through it, but I love the atmosphere of Doom 3.
Yes.
I liked going through the PDFs and reading all this stuff. It feels like Resident Evil kind of. So I don't know. It had it doesn't feel exactly. It feels distinctly different than the original Doom games.
Yeah.
But it's very atmospheric.
Well, it's just they took that concept and turned it to they put a big story, which I like the story. I think it's fitting.
Well, again, we can use the word immersive, I think, and that's what you want in a Doom game.
One thing I will agree with is that it seems repetitive at some junctures, but then again, if you play Doom, I mean, the levels are, unless you get a certain mod or a way of doing it, the levels are the same. That's how it is,
Right.
So I don't know if that's a completely fair, criticism. I think the game gets pretty difficult, as you go on to the point where I think that's a good, curve. Yeah. And I swear, when you first encounter an archvile in that game, it's the most... Oh, God. Because it's after you go through hell. Yeah. And you're going back through the rest of the base. And you're walking through the power's out. And you're walking through this dark-ass area. Man. And you hear this noise, like this really weird, and you're walking down this hallway, all of a sudden there's like this, almost like a psycho, like Alfred Hitchcock, strings real quick, and a body slams up against shit. Gets something through it. You're like, I don't want to go around the corner. And you turn around the corner, and at first there's nothing, it's just dark. Yeah. And as soon as you walk in there, there's a fucking thing up in the balcony walking at you, man.
It's giving you creeps right now.
They're freaky. But I mean, and going, I'm sure going forward, it makes you wonder if they're ever going to do. I'm eager to see what they're ever going to. If they're going to keep expounding on it, or are they just going to eventually say, "Hey, we just run its course. It's a classic. Let's move on."
I imagine there will always be some sort of Doom, whether it's fan-made games or official games. I don't know. It's interesting to see that they've taken it this far. Yes. Like Doom 3 was crazy to see that they were actually going to make a Doom 3, right? And then when it came out, that was pretty amazing. And then another remake of Doom. So who knows? Hopefully, whoever does make future games will take these ones as learning opportunities and make us something even better.
Well, it seems like Like what I've heard about the new one is it has I haven't heard like smashing reviews, but like as far as level design and gameplay, I've heard a lot of good things about it being fun.
Yeah.
You could do a lot of crazy like melee attacks and stuff like that, you know.
Well,
That's how you get extra ammo and stuff, is ripping off of a arm of a demon or something like that. It's ridiculous. You know?
I think Bethesda has a pretty good track record.
Yeah, they just do the same shit that all these companies do nowadays, which we'll talk about another time, but they you know, they're so worried about the game being out at a certain point, they rush the shit out and then gotta patch it over and over again. Mm-hmm. They get there eventually, but you know, just like we get here eventually to the end of the show.
Yes, I think it's that time again. Thanks for listening.
We're glad you stuck with us, and hopefully you're as big as Doom fans as we are, and you can check out Doom, you know, on our channel. We stream it, whether it's Doomsday with Insomniac Hours or me just getting the itch to play at home or whatever. Dooms will always be a part of our channel.
Todd's ritual is about once a month.
Yes, at least.
Doom night, and yeah.
You can see that once again our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/BananaROMa TV. Or no, BananaROMa, I'm sorry.
It's just you can go to either one, actually. BananaROMa TV hosts BananaROMa, so...
Okay.
Either way, you can find our Twitch, and if you want to watch Doom videos, we have quite a few Doom videos on our YouTube page.
Yeah, I recently got back to recording Ultimate Doom 100% walkthrough. I just finished the first episode. We got that uploaded to the BananaROMa YouTube page. We're up to about 50 subscribers, and hopefully some point in the future we'll have our personalized URL.
Yep. So please go to our YouTube and subscribe. We actually don't have a personal URL right now, but if we get 100 subscribers, we have enough videos, I think we meet all the other requirements, we'll be able to get a custom URL. So you can help us get youtube.com/BananaROMa Television.
If you go to BananaROMaTV.com right now, and you can find the links to all of our social media, including YouTube, as well as updates on things we have going on, blogs about video gaming.
Oh yes, we have some awesome blogs on our website, BananaROMaTV.com.
And also, don't forget the Patreon. Join us in the journey.
Oh yes, you can be a part of it. You can help us out. If you like our podcast, if you like our Twitch show, you can support us by going to patreon.com/BananaROMaTV, and you can pledge to make a monthly donation. Anything we get is going to go towards our channel. It's going to support us, this endeavor, in some way. Mm-hmm. Sign up and we'll send you some awesome stuff.
We're doing it for you, man.
For you. It'll make everything better.
Our fellow gamers, thank you for listening so much. We appreciate it.
Yes, really, though, we've had a lot of help and support from a lot of people, and we wouldn't be here without them. We put our own time and money in a lot. We got these wonderful microphones that will say Oddsmith anonymously donated.
Yeah.
And
I won't tell you my last name, but I will tell you that I'm a Hemingway. You just tell people your last name. Okay, wrong. Different show. Never mind.
Different show.
But we're going to get the H out of here. Thanks for listening once again, and we hope to hear from you, and we'll talk to you later.
Indeed. Good night. Good day. Go play some games.
Join me, Oddsmith311, and the rest of the BTV crew every Thursday night, starting around 9 o'clock, for Insomniac Hours. I'll be playing some of my favorite games, from Super Nintendo to Wii, PC to Xbox One. We'll be all over the place. It's what we like to do. We stay up late, we play games. You can follow us at Twitter at BananaROMa_TV for updates and interact with us during the show. Be there or be square.
Don't be square.
Two players, one controller.
What could go wrong?
Next?
Check out Control Freaks, because it's awesome.
Every other Sunday night, new episodes starring FelixNloom.
That's me.
And Oddsmith311.
That's him.
That's us.
And we're going to be playing Crash Bandicoot.
Super Mario World 2. I'm sorry, Super Mario World 2.
It's actually Crash Bandicoot 2 and Super Mario World 2.
2's everywhere.
Oh lord, it's like a theme. I don't even think we planned it that way. But let's just pretend that we did. So go check that out. You can watch it on Twitch when we stream it live Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Or you can check it out on YouTube.
You can keep updated on what we're going to be doing that week. Following us at twitter.com/BananaROMA_TV. Or you can also follow us at facebook.com/BananaROMA Television. It's a good time.
It's a good time. Check it out. That's called
Control Freaks.
Control Freaks. Alright.
Give us a countdown and I'll get her going.
We're going to do 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello, welcome to the bot.
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome.
We'll fucking do it live. Okay, try it again. Okay, sorry about that.
Do it live. Oh, wasn't that fun? Everybody, thanks for watching. This is Felix here, and I'm really here.